then we'll probably sit anyway, so. Oh, 14 minutes till tip.
Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Durrington High School for the first NBL live game of 2021. Tonight's NBL live fixture here in Worthing is coming to you from a training complex. Worthing Thunder, who use this facility as their training base, have been forced to also use it as a temporary game night venue. The Thunder looking to change their recent run of form, where they have lost 3 in their last 4. The last one being a 107-57 loss to the Solent Kestrels. They square off against the Thames Valley Cavaliers, one of the 2 unbeaten teams left in Division 1, and coming off a 93-71 win over a stubborn BA London Lions side. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Basketball England YouTube channel. I'm John Hobbs, alongside former Worthing Thunder and Hemel Storm guard Ian Berry. And Ian, it's good to have you on board. It's bitterly cold here on the south coast tonight, so cold that you're still wearing your hat. I'm trying to keep warm here, but you're making me even more cold.
Yeah, good evening, John, and welcome to everyone tuning in tonight. Just on my hat, I mean, it's cold enough. If I was you with that hairline, I would have a hat on. But yeah, we've got a good matchup tonight, and on paper looking like a tough one for Worthing, but a team that can explode at any time, multiple scorers, and looking forward to see how it goes tonight against TVC. Absolutely, and
Julian Stanley, head coach of the Thunder, telling me before tip-off that this week has been very, it's been motivational. The guys came into training almost deflated after Saturday's loss against Solent. It was one of the heaviest defeats, if not the heaviest, in Worthing Thunder's history, illustrious history that dates back to 1999. However, they got at it, they started training, and the motivation was there, and they're really motivated, Julian was saying, to get this game underway. They really want to prove a point tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Solent are, let's be honest about it, the last couple of seasons, Solent have been a level above. So it's not surprising that every now and then they get going and they really run away with the game. So I think for Worthing not to overreact to one loss. Sure, they've had a couple of tough results lately, but as I said, this is a team that can get going and score in bunches at any time. And as Julian was saying, they had a good practice and they're ready for the game. And tonight's one game as any other, they can go out there and then compete,
Absolutely, and Thames Valley Cavaliers, of course, a team unbeaten still in the league, 5-0. They come to Worthing, with a lot of confidence ahead of them, and they got a win over a very stubborn BA London Lions team last week. Very slow to get out the blocks, and they came forward, especially in the latter stages of the second and third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a team that's got some scoring power, and this lineup is probably, if not the most potent, one of the most potent in the league. Could probably compete in the league above in the BBL, and they can put up points on anyone, put up 100 points in any game. And just chatting with Blaine Freckleton, one of their guards recently, and we were talking a little bit, and he was telling me this team's really focused on defense, really trying to find a way to take that next step and be on the same page and communicate consistently. And it'd be interesting tonight to see what they do. The matchups are really interesting in this game, as we'll get into as we go,
Absolutely, and obviously I've mentioned that we are at what is essentially a training complex. This isn't really a game night venue. Worthing Thunder, of course, play their home games originally at the Worthing Leisure Centre. Worthing Leisure Centre, of course, is closed to the public due to the government lockdown. So here we are at Durrington High School, and social distancing has become quite an important factor. This is a very small court, and some venues allow slightly more people than expected. Here it's very strict. It was a battle just to be here in essence, but we have agreed upon to come here, which is great. But social distancing is so important, especially here at Durrington High School.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll have an impact on the game, you know. Worthing historically have played at Worthing Leisure Centre, where there's just a massive crowd and huge support all the time, and the impact on the flow of the game and the impact on the level of comfort for the home players, the level of maybe discomfort for some of the away players, is probably going to be something to look out for, you know. It's much more like a closed-door kind of scrimmage game, and players react differently to that.
Absolutely. So just before we get into the team news for tonight's game, a few games being played in the National Basketball League today. Loughborough Riders unlucky against the Derby Trailblazers. Derby Trailblazers coming away with a 77-75 victory. The Reading Rockets travelling up to Nottingham and getting a 98-79 victory. Essex Rebels getting a very good victory, 101-86 against a difficult Bradford Dragons team. Bradford really an exciting team to watch this season, but coming up short in Colchester. And the Newcastle University with a narrow 94-91 victory over the Leicester Warriors, And the WNBL game, the WNBL League coming back into it today, and the BA London Lions and Loughborough Riders getting it on in the first game since their mini break. Loughborough coming up with a 77-62 win. Of course, it's great to have the WNBL back in, and you had a close eye on that Loughborough BA London game, and great to see some women's basketball being shown.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, off the back of some of the national team success that the women have had in recent years, it's just good to see the leagues go from strength to strength with WNBL and with the WBBL as well. And some of these girls are doing it, you know, week in, week out. Makana Stone today for the Loughborough Riders, who are now 6-2, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 9 steals.
Big game.
Unbelievable stat
Absolutely.
line. Harriet Wellham, Esther Little for Ipswich. They just ball out week in, week out. And it's good to see that they're starting to get some of the recognition for these big performances they're putting on a weekly basis.
Absolutely. So we'll go to the team news for tonight's game, starting with the hometown Worthing Thunder. And the big news, I suspect, is we were told that there was no Zaire Taylor for tonight's game. I'm not sure if he's actually arrived either, but we have been told that Zaire will play no part in this game. But it's been very hush-hush as opposed. But even though he's not playing, still a full-strength team. Jack Sunderland returning to the team following self-isolation last week. He's out of self-isolation and is back in the roster tonight. Who are you looking for in that lineup as a key player?
Yeah, as you say, like Zaire is going to be a big miss, former BBL MVP, and everyone knows the credentials there. But they've got a bunch of talent still, and obviously, I mean, the obvious thing for anyone who's ever seen Worthing play recently is Cameron Hildreth, and they're going to sort of go as he goes. Extremely talented young guard and pretty unguardable in a one-on-one situation. So if he can get going and cause them some problems, it's going to open up things for their shooters and their other scorers. And, we'll look for that, as well as the matchup inside with Hakeem Silla for TVC and for Howard over at Worthing.
Absolutely. And now going over to the Thames Valley Cavaliers, tonight's visitors unbeaten in the league. And, of course, Brain Freckleton coming back into the team. He had a slight knock last week, but he returns. But otherwise, it is as you were, and all eyes on Hakeem Silla, how he performs. And also they're 2 Americans as well.
Yeah, I mean, as we touched on in pre-game, they are just stacked and perimeter scoring from multiple options. And Silla will be all over the glass. A regular game for him is 20, 25 and 11 or 12. And yeah, a tough team to match up with. So no doubt Worthing got their hands full. It'll be a good one to watch.
Absolutely. Hakeem Silla, the player of the week last week for his 31 points and 14 rebounds against the BA London Lions. 3rd season with the Cavaliers and has averaged at least 20 points, 11 rebounds in those 3 seasons. That just tells you what kind of dominant player he is.
Yeah, he's been consistent for years. I mean, even back when I've been playing against him, Division 1, Division 2, he's been here for a while now. And just, I've never seen him have a game where he doesn't put his print on the game. Even when he's not heavily involved in the offense, he finds a way to battle inside, get cheap rebounds, if you like, get to the foul line, and just a constant threat that they'll always need to be aware of for 40 minutes.
Absolutely, and Silla will be in the starting 5 for the Cavaliers, alongside Lewis Champion, Blaine Freckleton, Taylor Johnson and Kai Williams. Kai Williams, of course, made his debut last week against the BA London Lions, a BBL veteran. And for the Thunder, Max Richardson, Cameron Hildreth, Tom Ward, Howard Crawford. And I am told Jack Sunderland is also going to be inserted into the starting lineup, and yep, he is.
Great addition for them, Kai Williams, you know. Just add a guy of that caliber at this point in the season.
Absolutely, yeah.
Great addition.
Great shooter, you know, knows the game so well. High basketball IQ, of course, spent time with the Newcastle Eagles, came to Thames Valley after a spell in Canada. It's almost surreal having a game here as well. It's deaf silence before we tip.
Absolutely. I was saying to Tom Ward just in warm-ups there, it feels more like a local league game.
Absolutely,
kind of show up and play, you know.
So before we start, players from both teams taking the knee for Black Lives Matter. And it's been great to see players taking the knee and standing up for Black Lives Matter, and they've done it throughout the season and will continue to do so. A great movement, and it's great to see so much support for that.
Yeah, fantastic cause, and it just needs to be something that anti-racism is everyday life now.
Absolutely, and tip off there, but Akeem Silla just jumped up a little too quickly, and it will be a Worthing Thunder possession. Of course, Worthing in black with the electric orange going through, and Thames Valley in their chain strip of white. Here's Hildreth. And Hildreth, along with his pull-up jumper. Ward with the rebound. Sunderland is off. Hildreth with the rebound. And a turnover, and Champion comes up with it. Here's Freckleton for the Cavaliers. Off the glass, and no good. So early possessions for both teams, but nothing doing. Here's Ward. Pull-up jumper for Tom Ward. Long rebound, Kai Williams, and both teams really making their intentions known early on.
Yeah, fast pace, maybe a little bit frenetic, if anything. Good start for both teams in terms of energy, but just need to settle down a little bit and find those easy looks.
Freckleton. Here's Williams. Inside to Silla. Backing down Richardson. Richardson, good defense there from Max Richardson. Akeem Silla, a key player for the Thames Valley Cavaliers, as we have discussed. Here's Crawford. This will be a good matchup against Silla. Crawford short with his hook. And it's 1-on-2 here, and Tom Ward with the steal, and Cameron Hildreth all the way, and an easy finish for Cameron Hildreth, and he gets off the mark.
Yeah, and just on that matchup with Silla and Crawford, even though he's not been successful in the first attempt, we want to see him keep going to that, you know. Put Silla get him in some foul trouble, maybe get him off the court and see what happens.
Freckleton. Here is Johnson. Johnson putting the moves on Sunderland. Sunderland, a good defensive player, but that's a tough move from Taylor Johnson. Hildreth putting the moves on Williams. Slight mismatch there, and Hildreth makes no mistake with the short jumper.
Interesting to see how Thames Valley are going to guard the pick and roll here. They're icing it, so they're sending him away from the contact. That will mean Cameron can get matched up with bigger guys and maybe able to get some buckets early on.
Silla. Here is Freckleton. Here is Johnson. Kicks it out. Nice passing, the extra pass there from the Cavaliers. Nice again inside. Silla with the score just as the shot clock was winding down. Great ball movement there from the Cavaliers, and it ends with Silla with another bucket. And a turnover there. Hildreth giving the ball to Taylor Johnson. Silla inside, banks it home.
Yeah, great start for TVC here, moving that basketball, playing together, getting easy looks, getting out in transition. 4-6
in favour of the Cavaliers. Here is Ward. Richardson for three. Richardson makes no mistake from downtown. Max Richardson, who struggled from the field last week, off the mark here tonight.
A lot of shooting on that Worthing team, you know.
Johnson. And Johnson makes no mistake. off-ball movement from the Cavaliers. A fast-paced start here at Durrington High School. And an offensive foul there, Max Richardson getting his body in the way, but it was a moving screen. So if you've just joined us on the Basketball England YouTube channel, welcome.
Great matchup here with Cam and Lewis.
Silla. Good defense there from Sunderland. Here is Tom Ward. Ward going inside, driving at Freckleton, no good. Crawford finding some room and finishes at the second attempt. Howard Crawford, good movement inside. Champion for three, and that's off, and it will stay a Thunder possession, who lead 9-8, 6:13 remaining in the first quarter.
Yeah, nice pace to this one early on. Both teams moving it, getting shots up.
Hildreth. Hildreth at the foul line, finds Richardson wide open. Richardson way off, though, with his three-point attempt. Here's Freckleton. And good defense there from Cameron Hildreth, anticipating where Taylor Johnson was going to be.
Yeah, it's a great stand. Make that extra effort, get back, get your feet set.
Absolutely. Cameron's father, Daniel Hildreth, will be very happy with that defensive play in as well. Obviously, Danny, a former Worthing Thunder player and coach, known for his strong defensive work ethic. He'll be very proud with that.
Ex-teammate of mine, always a pest. I'm sure he won't appreciate me saying that.
Crawford, nice footwork from Howard Crawford, who's really getting aggressive inside. And Thunder lead 11-8.
Great to see Howard aggressive early. That's what they need.
Champion. Risky pass, but finds Freckleton. And that's a beautiful move. Off-ball movement again from Thames Valley. Inch perfect, and Taylor Johnson makes no mistake. Ward. Finds Crawford. Crawford on the hook, and that's short. Kai Williams with the rebound. It's such a fast-paced first quarter so far, but these two teams like to play at that pace. It was a very high-scoring game between these two teams last season. Williams short with his two, and Tom Ward gets it. Here's Hildreth. It's 2-on-2 at the moment. Hildreth finds Sunderland. Ward with a very awkward-looking jumper. I think he was caught in two minds there of what to do. Instead, an awkward-looking jump shot.
Yeah, a little bit indecision. Nice take to the basket. Like to see him just stop short there and use that nice pull-up that he has and shoot it with confidence.
As you can see there in the replay, you could just see Tom Ward just a little bit awkward as he got in the air and almost got caught in two minds of what to do. Champion bumping Hildreth. And Richardson with the rebound. You can just sense, though, Ian, both teams just slowing it down a little bit over the last 90 seconds or so.
Yeah, for sure. You know, good start to the game, good pace, and now they're just starting to move it. Look for their scorers, get into their sets, and hey.
And there you go, Howard Crawford at the second attempt. Good find from Tom Ward off the miss from Cameron Hildreth. Tom Ward, a really pesky player inside, gets very surprising amount of rebounds for a guy his size. Here is Johnson, so quick down the basket. And that was Seth Hawley, with the layup, not Taylor Johnson. And Seth Hawley gets his first score of the day.
Yeah, just to touch on Tom Ward, I mean, he works as hard as anyone, not just a scorer. He's out there working constantly, 40 minutes. Very impressed with the ball movement early from Thames Valley, you know. Blaine Freckleton in particular, known as a shooter, one of the best shooters in the country, but he's got a couple of lovely little assists inside. And if they can continue that, they're tough to guard.
Also into the game for the first time for the Cavaliers, Bernard Hehetro as well, who had a double-double in last week's win over the BA London Lions, 10 points and 10 rebounds. And a very underrated forward, I find, as well. Plays his university ball with Brunel as well, as Lewis Champion has the ball. Here is Johnson. Johnson finds Hetro, and a foul has been called, and that will be on Cameron Hildreth. And as you can see at the replay, Julian Stanley not happy with that decision. Just have a look at the replay here of that play.
Yeah, referee deems that his feet are still moving. It's a close one, you know, seen him given. Bang, bang play, 50-50.
Bernard Hetro will go to the line for the Cavaliers. As said just a second ago, a player that I find a really underrated forward in this league. Brings great energy off the bench. And proven last week, 10 points, 10 rebounds in their win over the Lions.
Yeah, nice to have a big athletic guy that can come in and maybe relieve some of their other players at times. And yeah, he's doing a great job so far.
And Hetro makes the first free throw. Just to remind everyone that next week we will, the NBL live cameras will be in Nottingham, as the Nottingham Hoods and the Leicester Warriors will square off in the East Midlands derby. Last season, that was an absolute thriller that came down to the wire. Leicester Warriors won that game that day. Here is Hildreth. Hildreth going inside, banks it home. Cameron Hildreth finding a slither of room and capitalising on it.
That's great patience off the ball screen there, just to keep the guy on his back, wait for that gap to open up and then attack and finish. Freckleton, nice pass to Silla. That was beautifully done. Great pass, great vision there from Freckleton to find Akeem Silla. Yeah, Blaine's out there diamond. 3 really nice assists inside, and yeah, he's causing problems right now.
Silla now moves on to 4 points, and the ball goes out of bounds. As you can see there, Cameron Hildreth, that was beautiful. Just found that little bit of room and using his quickness to get inside. And Ishmael Fontaine into the game for the first time for the Thunder. As Tom Ward takes a seat, here is Hildreth. Wild pass from Hildreth, finds no one but Freckleton. Here is Hawley. Seth Hawley finds Freckleton, back to Hawley. And Hawley stripped by Fontaine. And Hildreth will slow it down. Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Relatively tight game here at Durrington High School. Both teams want to play at a high pace. Richardson, back to Fontaine. Tough defense there from Taylor Johnson, not letting Hildreth have an inch. Hildreth with the 3, shot clock winding down. And Silla rebounds.
Really physical defense on the perimeter as expected. When guarding Cameron Hildreth, you can't give him a little bit of space or he'll exploit you.
Hawley for 3 in the corner. Seth Hawley from downtown. And the Cavaliers lead stretches to 4.
It's nice ball movement again, find the open guy.
Crawford. Sunderland, and a whistle has gone. That'll be on Blaine Freckleton. And we mentioned a very fast-paced start to this game. As the game wears on, who do you think that will actually favour as we go on?
Well, I think the depth of Thames Valley, if they continue playing at this pace for all 40 minutes, the depth is going to be a key factor. But as you expect, the game's going to ebb and flow, and it's not going to stay the same pace the whole game. So we'll see who settles in and is able to maintain that pace or indeed adjust.
Fontaine for 3, and Silla rebounds. That's Silla's 3rd rebound to go with 4 points. Here's Freckleton for 3, and Hildreth rebounds. You could just sense both teams not getting into any sort of rhythm despite the fast pace. As Hildreth gets stopped in his traps by Hawley. Inside to Richardson, and Hetro, I think, got a block, but I don't think he really realised that he was doing it. Here's Freckleton, kicks it out. Hawley for 3. Hawley puts it in. Seth Hawley from downtown.
Yeah, there's a real effort by Thames Valley right now to move that basketball, make the extra pass. you know, Thunder looking a little bit stagnant on offense at times, playing through Cameron a lot as expected.
Hawley now moves on to 8 points. Hildreth. Nice pass to Crawford. Crawford, though, in trouble, but recovers and rattles it in. Good awareness of knowing where he was around the basket. Final seconds of this first quarter. Freckleton going inside. Good defense there from Jack Sunderland. And Hildreth's shot ricochets off the backboard, and that ends a very fast-paced and at times scrappy first quarter here at Durrington High School. Thames Valley Cavaliers lead the Worthing Thunder 22-17. And as you can see, myself and Ian Berry practicing social distancing as much as we can, even more so that our cameraman Ralston just can't quite get us in focus if I just move a little bit there. But it's been an entertaining first quarter, scrappy at times. And as we go on, you know, we've spoken about that, but with Thames Valley, it's all about depth, and Thunder, it's all about, you know, using the starting five that they have and just utilising that to their advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they've taken the early punch well. You know, okay, Thunder are down 5. It's like 2-possession game and no problem there. As the game goes on, they're just going to have to figure out where they're going to get their looks from when Cameron's not able to create in a one-on-one situation. Howard started really well, and hopefully they look to more of that down in the block. You know, and that can open up Richardson and Ward on the perimeter, Ishmael Fontaine. They've got plenty of scoring from the outside. So if they can sort of find that inside presence, wear down inside, then they can create a lot of looks.
Absolutely, and we speak about the fast pace to this game. Of course, both teams put up a really entertaining clash last year. The Thames Valley Cavaliers coming out 131-115 winners in that, and Thames Valley, they've put 22 points on the board so far after the first quarter. They put 41 points on the board last season, so a bit of a change there, but it's about a game of runs, isn't it? It's not about how many points you put up, but we could be on course for another one of those clashes if the pace continues and both teams get into their rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Thunder will be okay with the 22 points conceded. They can't give up that every quarter, of course, but this is a fast-paced quarter, and to give up less than 25 against a free-flowing scoring team like Thames Valley puts you in with a chance of making the next run and being in the game.
So, as mentioned, good to have everyone on board on Basketball England's YouTube channel. If you've just joined us, welcome. Great to see so many people tuning in tonight. Probably the only basketball game in town, actually. There's no BBL games. There's no real NBL games on as well. All games have finished so far, so it's good to have you on board. Here's Fontaine. Ward finds a little bit of room on the baseline. Champion, though, rebounds. Hawley. Quick passing. Williams finds Hawley in his favourite spot. Fontaine rebounds. Good passing there from the Cavaliers, but the end result was a little short. Here is Richardson. Sunderland for 3. Big rebound there from Crawford. They reset. Crawford over Silla, and Champion with back-to-back rebounds.
Seth Hawley with a quick 8 points in the first quarter. Got away with one there, leaving him open in the corner, and here he is again.
Was open inside. And again off. Good defense there from Howard Crawford. Just putting enough on it. There's Richardson. Richardson at the elbow. Almost lax defense there from the Cavaliers. And Freckleton, I think, just slowing it down. Silla. Shot clock down to 8. Here is Silla going to work inside. Puts it in and one. Akeem Silla.
Yep, that's the office down there. When he gets that deep, able to draw contact and finish.
Was able to score a lot off his own misses last week, and instead now going to work on the block as Seth Hawley takes a seat. Taylor Johnson comes in. And the Cavaliers now lead by 7 as Dominic Ives checks into the game for the first time, and Max Richardson takes a seat, as you can see. Akeem Silla inside, very close under the bucket. Makes no mistake.
I think it's going to be key for Worthing to get a body on Silla off ball and make sure we bump him into areas on the court that he's not so familiar with and doesn't get such easy looks inside throughout the game.
Third season with the Cavaliers, Hakeem Silla. Ward. Crawford, beautifully done, and Howard Crawford really having a breakout first half here for the Thunder. Really getting at it inside, aggressive play. Johnson. Freckleton. Finds Johnson. Fontaine, though, gets a hand on it. 4 on the shot clock. Johnson with the floater, it's good.
And that's what Thames Valley can do, even in a broken play. You know, not much going on. They've got such talented guys. They can get a bucket.
Taylor Johnson now on 8 points. Sunderland. Ward back to Sunderland. Thunder really moving the ball well, but Fontaine's 3 is off. Silla rebounds. And here comes Champion. Of course, Champion last season played at the Bristol Flyers. And Crawford gets the rebound off the miss from Taylor Johnson. Good pass from Tom Ward, but it gets deflected off Lewis Champion. Here come the Cavaliers again. Freckleton, and Freckleton stepped out of bounds and slams the ball in frustration as Cameron Hildreth comes back into the game and Jack Sunderland takes a seat. Just like the game last week against Solent, both teams almost reluctant to call a timeout. It's just allowing play to continue, subs to come in. It's been such a fast-paced beginning to this game. I mean, I know we sound like a broken record saying it, but it really has been. I've been struggling to catch my breath at times.
Yeah, with the style these two teams like to play, they get up and down, they share the basketball. You know, timeouts are going to break rhythm at times, and I feel like if the coaches like what they see, they're going to let them run.
And Coach Robert Banks and Coach Julian Stanley definitely liking, it seems, what these two teams are doing. Hildreth will go to the line. Nice effort there from Hildreth, but nothing doing, but he'll go to the line for 2. And, of course, when you think of this season, you think of the National Basketball League, probably the first name that comes to a lot of coaches, fans, players' minds is Cameron Hildreth right now, of course, committing to Wake Forest for next year. Got to train with the Great Britain national team, just a phenomenal talent, and he's still only 18 years of age, which is just surreal and incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, he's playing way beyond his years, and he's come on so much physically the last couple of years, just a massive change in his development, and yeah, he's doing great. You know, sky's the limit for him, and obviously we wish when he goes to Wake Forest. I'm just happy to be watching him play basketball here. Absolutely.
Plays alongside his, well, not alongside, his coaching father, Danny Hildreth, of course, at Storm Basketball and Holy Trinity over in Crawley, which is just along the A23 here in West Sussex. Of course, Danny Hildreth, such a strong influence in Cameron's life, and what a great junior coach he is as well. Used to coach, obviously, the Worthing Thunder himself.
Yeah, Danny Hildreth been involved in Worthing for years as Cameron shoots another 3.
As you said, yeah, he's been involved in West Sussex basketball, you could say, for a number of years, and of course is now based in Crawley at Holy Trinity School.
Yeah, great setup over there.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Richardson on the pull-up is good.
Richardson can get going. That's another factor for them, and that's going to be just add another weapon to that team. 26-23.
Absolutely, yeah. Thunder have narrowed the gap to 3 points halfway through the second quarter, and a travel call. Taylor Johnson just lifting his pivot foot up a little bit.
A little bit disjointed right now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Thames Valley take a timeout if it continues. Trying to find good looks, but, you know, a couple of empty possessions now.
Hildreth finds Ives. Richardson going to work, kicks it out to Tom Ward on a pull-up. Tom Ward is good. And Tom Ward, who led Thunder with 12 points in last week's defeat to the Solent Kestrels. And he gets off the mark at the 5th attempt. He's now 1 for 5 from the field.
That pull-up is a layup for Tom.
Absolutely, such a strength of his, that mid-range jumper. And here's Freckleton over Ward.
speaking of layups, great move to get to the left hand.
Of course, Blaine Freckleton, who had a minor injury last week, so he missed the game against the BA London Lions as Tom Ward connects at the other end.
A little back and forth with Tom and Blaine here.
Absolutely, 28-27 in favour of the Cavaliers. Johnson finds Williams. Williams thought about the three, instead finds an open Taylor Johnson and a foul.
It's good basketball.
Absolutely, great
cut,
off-ball,
great find, yeah.
Absolutely, great off-ball movement there, especially from Taylor Johnson. We've seen him do that a few times, as you can see. Going around the screen, and Jack Sunderland caught in no man's land. And Taylor Johnson made no mistake about it. Averaged 26 points last season with the Cavaliers. Did Taylor Johnson, now in his second season.
Yeah, and I spoke to Blaine a couple of days ago, and we were talking and asked him about a couple of the areas for improvement on this team and some of the struggles. And he said, you know, some of it is about how they're going to find a way to share the basketball. And you can see that focus today. They're really trying to move that ball, and everyone's scoring and everyone's involved.
They've certainly improved on their ball security. They had 24 turnovers in last week's win, which was something they needed to improve on. Cameron Hildreth will go back to the free throw line. And we mention Cameron Hildreth. We mentioned the influence, Ian, that his dad Daniel had on, you know, his career, soon to be an NCAA player. As we see the replay of Cameron going to the hoop there. You've played alongside Daniel Hildreth, and you know all about his game. You've played with him both in competitive and in training. What is Danny like as a player, and how will that reflect on Cameron?
I mean, Danny was tenacious as a player. You know, I can remember even when we were training, Danny being one of the older guys when I was at Worthing, and we run suicides or sprints or whatever it might be, and the competitiveness of Danny Hildreth was that he was trying to win every drill, even as an older player on the team. And you can see that in Cameron's game. You can see the way he fights for rebounds. You can see the heart and the energy and the determination that he plays with. There's no doubt that that's rubbed off from his dad, and he's put in a lot of hard work, and it shows. You know, he's a hell of a player.
So I remember Cameron. First memory of Cameron was when he was 3 years old. Danny was obviously a Worthing Thunder player. Cameron would come to the games, obviously, as a 3-year-old. And just seeing him even shoot the ball at age 3, he could even, you know, shoot the ball and it would hit the rim. So you knew that he was going to be a special talent, and here he is now as Taylor Johnson again inside and scores. And again, that's on Jack Sunderland. 2 quick fouls for Jack Sunderland.
Yeah, Taylor sort of abusing that slight height advantage down there, and maybe getting away with a little hook, but getting inside.
And I think that's what
nice
Jack
composed
Sunderland,
finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what Jack Sunderland is talking to the referees about. And a technical foul has been called. Oh, no, actually, excuse me, a timeout has been called. Oh, I'm entitled to one mistake, aren't I? Good grief, come on. So a timeout has been called, first one of the evening. And we get to breathe a little bit, Ian, and just, you know, reflect on this game, but also as well, you know, for yourself. We're in the middle of a pandemic. The first thing you were saying to me was, you know, it's great to just be at a basketball game, period. We don't get a chance to do this much at the moment. But for you, you know, looking at this venue and seeing it live, you know, your first thoughts?
Yeah, as I said, I think anyone who's able to go out and compete, or even, you know, be a part of watch a basketball game at the moment, you just got to take it as a blessing and be grateful for it. I think back before all of this happened with COVID and with lockdown, we kind of take those things for granted, and now to be out here and the guys are competing, and obviously we're here and we're able to watch the game and talk about the game, it's amazing. And hopefully all this will blow over, if you like, or the new normal will allow us to have more and more of this, because it's absolutely needed for people to get out there and exercise and be a part of it and enjoy themselves.
Absolutely. And a big shout out to all the hard workers at the NHS for doing their part, doing such a great job in this battle against COVID. Of course, Ian, your partner, herself, a staff nurse at a local hospital where you guys live. as well, and you know, a fantastic job that they're all doing, and hopefully this will all be over soon. We'll have fans back into venues. That's what we were hoping, that's what we are hoping will happen. And of course the Worthing Leisure Centre can finally open up and we can allow fans back into venues. That'd be great as well.
Nice little set here out of the timeout, trying to go 4 high and then get the weak side guard come through. Couldn't quite execute and get Cameron on the inside pass, but nice to see that they've come out and there's some intention to get the basketball to a great area on the court.
Great to see so many comments on the Basketball England YouTube channel. If you've joined us, welcome. Here's Max Richardson for 3, no good, and Howard Crawford was going for the tip dunk, but Silla beat him to the rebound. Johnson teasing the 3. Freckleton found no one but Howard Crawford's hands. Here's Hildreth, who comes up with the loose ball. Inside to Crawford, and open Tom Ward. Tom Ward rattles one in. You don't leave Tom Ward open from downtown.
And this is great recognition from Cam in transition. They get out and they run, and he finds Howard inside on a mismatch. They need to double down, and there's a wide open shot for Tom, one of their best shooters. Great recognition from the young player to get it inside, find that mismatch, and then exploit it, and then find our shooter on the perimeter.
Tom Ward now with 7 points. Here is Hawley. Shot clock down to 3. Hawley, big 3, puts it in. Seth Hawley from downtown. Huge 3. Seth Hawley, who struggled last week, 7 points, but dished out 6 assists. Here's Hildreth, and he's going to go back to the foul line. Cameron Hildreth seeing a lot of time at the free throw line here.
Yeah, and Seth not struggling tonight.
As you can see here.
I think that's his 3rd or 4th 3, and he's found some space on the court multiple times, and yeah, he's really going for it right now.
Seth Hawley's 4 for 7 from the field thus far. That was his 3rd 3 out of 5 attempts. 11 points for him.
Yeah, he's cooking.
As Hildreth makes the first free throw, and even though I spoke earlier, Ian, about being back at the Worthing Leisure Centre, a big shout out, of course, to everyone involved here at Durrington High School for helping organise these games alongside the Thunder Volunteers, the very hard-working Worthing Thunder Volunteers. However, it is freezing in here, and obviously your hat is still on. I think my arms are starting to ice over, but we're soldiering on. Here is Hakeem Silla. Beautiful take from Hakeem Silla.
My hat's still on and it's staying on.
You spoke about my hairline. I think you're trying to hide something yourself. Here is Hildreth.
Wow, we're going there, huh?
Richardson inside, off balance, and he travelled with it. 2:21 remaining, and the Cavaliers lead 39-33, but it doesn't really tell the whole story of this game, as you see the replay of Max Richardson just a bit off balance there, but it doesn't tell the story of the game. It seems much closer than what it already is at the moment.
Yeah, they're fighting right now. They're out there trying to put a run together. Obviously, TVC up 6 points, but it's really a close game right now, and it's on who can get a few stops in a row and capitalise at the other end.
Silla at the elbow. Silla gets bumped, and Hakeem Silla will go to the foul line for 2.
Yeah, he's got that awkward style, and he gets into the body, draws a lot of contact. Tough cover.
And as mentioned earlier, Hakeem Silla, Player of the Week last week, and obviously in the Team of the Week as well. 31 points, 14 rebounds. But what wasn't mentioned as much as he did that in just 26 minutes of play. 14 for 18 from the field. And most of the rebounds were second chance points as well.
Yeah, he's very efficient. He impacts the game in a lot of ways, and like you say, he gets it done in a short amount of time as well. He doesn't need to be out there jacking 20 shots a game to get his numbers. He's a very efficient player and can slot in on any top team.
And he now moves on to 10 points after making both free throws. 2:02 remaining in the second quarter. Here's Ward. The extra pass to Fontaine, and the ball gets deflected out of bounds. It will be a Thunder possession. I thought Fontaine was going to take the shot there, but instead wanted to go inside to Crawford, who has been Thunder's key player so far in this first half.
Yeah, and I think it's smart, just trying to feed the big man, keep him in rhythm.
Absolutely, a turnover there. Here is Silla. Finds Kai Williams, excuse me. Here's Hawley. Hawley for three. And Cavaliers come back up with it. Kai Williams was screaming for it there and gets it. Champion, and Ward comes up with it. Ward to Hildreth. It is one-on-one. Hildreth banks it home.
Great pass from Tom Ward in transition there. Great finish from Cam.
Champion. 1:20 remaining in this first half. Hawley off the glass is good. Seth Hawley having a great first half for the Cavaliers. He's now on 13. Ward looking for Crawford. Finds Crawford. Crawford with the hook short. And Silla with his 6th rebound.
Yeah, got to locate Hawley now. He's starting to get going.
And here is Hawley. Just about finds Silla. Silla too strong. Good defense there from Crawford. Hildreth finds a bit of room inside and scores again. Cameron Hildreth having a great first half for the Thunder. He's now on 13 points himself.
Cam's ability to get in the seams of the defense and finish is just incredible.
Silla nearly off the glass. Fontaine comes up with it. Here is Ward. Final seconds of this first half. And Thunder can reduce the lead to 4 or 3 with this possession. Ward. Fontaine to Richardson. Shot clock winding down and finds nothing. And that ends the first half here at Durrington High School. The Thames Valley Cavaliers lead the Worthing Thunder 43-37. Cameron Hildreth, the high man for Thunder, with 13 points. Taylor Johnson leading all scorers with 14 for the Cavaliers off 6 for 7 shooting. And it's been a fast-paced first half. Your thoughts as we go into the break?
Yeah, a good half, enjoyable, entertaining half. I think everyone watching on YouTube will be enjoying the game. I like the way that Worthing on the defensive end have scrapped the game up a little bit, able to get some hands in the passing lane and deflect some passes here and there. Yeah, they established Howard early, and that was always going to be key. And if they can continue to do that and maybe get some production from their other role players on the perimeter, you know, this is going to be a great game.
Absolutely. So half-time here at Durrington High School. Thames Valley Cavaliers lead 43-37 over the Worthing Thunder. We'll be back in roughly 10 to 12 minutes' time.
What is commitment? Without commitment, it's very difficult to do everything. Without commitment, sport is nothing. Without commitment, sport can be just recreational tool. Like if we want to have sport as educational tool, it has to be commitment.
So Slam Jam, it's a new initiative by Basketball England, targeted at 7 to 11-year-olds. It's about getting the children to have fun, to link basketball with a fun experience so that we can get lifelong involvement in the sport. And it's really focused on engagement and a fun, positive first experience. So it's not so much about the skill development side of basketball. It's really just about giving people a positive first experience of basketball. They're having fun, they're with their friends, they can develop at their own pace in their own time. So it's really developing on coordination, core strength, as well as basketball skills. So there's not necessarily basketball specific games, but they've got basketballs thrown in there. So they're working on dribbling, shooting, passing in a less structured environment than like a training session. And it's just focused on fun and getting primary school age children engaged. When they come to the first Slam Jam session, they get a t-shirt which they can keep. Each primary school, they get some Slam Jam basketballs and a little goodie bag that the children can take home. And another thing, throughout the session, if we see like someone's doing really good at a certain skill or teamwork or being just nice and friendly to other people, they can get stickers. Good practice in sportsmanship as well as being good at the skills. So I think the reason this program is different is that there's a 12-week curriculum and there's different things to work on. And obviously, as a coach, you can kind of chop and change a little bit as is appropriate for the age group that you're teaching. But it just means that everybody's getting that same fun, first positive experience. Literally, we're just trying to get them to have positive experiences with basketball so that later on they can be maybe even just a supporter of the game. Go online, get in touch with Basketball England. They can also search Slam Jam for the local centres to them that run the initiative, and they can inquire and maybe even get a coach to come in and run a 12-week session.
Semi-final by 12 points and move through to the gold medal game. They're guaranteed a medal here.
What is commitment? Without commitment, it's very difficult to do everything. Without commitment, sport is nothing. Without commitment, sport can be just recreational tool. Like if we want to have sport as educational tool, it has to be commitment.
So Slam Jam, it's a new initiative by Basketball England, targeted at 7 to 11-year-olds. It's about getting the children to have fun.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Durrington High School for tonight's NBL live encounter between the Worthing Thunder and the Thames Valley Cavaliers. The Cavaliers leading 43-37. I'm John Hobbs alongside former Worthing Thunder and Hemel Storm guard Ian Berry. Ian, welcome. It's been a very entertaining first half, and Julian Stanley, the Worthing Thunder head coach, just telling us just before we went back on air about how many positives there were and just how confident the Thunder players are coming into this third quarter and are really eager to get back into it.
Yeah, I think they can be happy with the start they made, down small, but coming off that big loss from Solent, they could be forgiven for coming into this game and starting very, very slowly, and that's not what they've done. You know, they've been active defensively. They've looked to get to their key scorers, and they're in the game. You know, it's a close game, and it's an entertaining game. It's been up and down. It's been aggressive. Not too stop-start, so yeah, enjoying it. And
Cameron Hildreth, who leads Thunder's scoring, he struggled against Solent last week, particularly against the defensive players, Elliot Dadds and Andre Aerosol, but has really excelled in this first half, 14 points so far.
Yeah, this is a style of game that will suit him and has suited him. A lot of up and down, a lot of transition, and finding some space and some success off the ball screen. He's got to keep moving off ball so he doesn't get too static when he does move the basketball and be a continuous threat. But he's done a great job first half.
Absolutely. Check that. He has 13 points. And Taylor Johnson, who leads all scorers with 14 points, 6 for 7 from the field. And what we have both agreed upon is he's gone about that very quietly. He's just ghosted to that 14 points, but a fantastic points haul nonetheless.
Yeah, a couple of and ones in there, but he's quietly gone about his business and done a great job.
Such a great off-ball mover is Taylor Johnson, and a lot of those baskets have come with off-ball screens and getting inside as well. Seth Hawley with 13 points. Great three-point shooting effort from him as we start the third quarter. Jack Sunderland back into the game for the Thunder. Shot clock down to 7. Ward finding a bit of room, going inside at Silla, and Kai Williams with the rebound. Here is Freckleton. And Lewis Champion, who still has not registered a field goal after 3 attempts so far. Here is Silla off the glass, gets his own rebound and scores. He did that so many times last week against the BA London Lions.
And that's what we're talking about with Silla. Great help from Tom Ward, and he's just able to put it up on the rim and get his own rebound, and it's 2 points.
Sunderland, Ward, wide open from the corner. Richardson gets the rebound. Here is Tom Ward again for 2, and this time makes no mistake.
Bread and butter for Tom Ward.
We spoke about what a strong mid-range shooter Tom Ward is, and he did show that in glimpses against Solent and has been again tonight. Here is Johnson. Silla from the elbow, and that's short, and Richardson keeps it in play, and here's Hildreth.
And that's what they're going to live with, Thunder, from Silla. They want him shooting those jump shots, not getting inside the paint.
Ward to Sunderland. Sunderland with the shot, and Silla. Good pressure there from Tom Ward. And continued pressure from Ward and Hildreth, and Cavaliers come up with it. And Freckleton just couldn't catch the ball there from a bullet pass from Champion. And Julian Stanley mentioning about how positive his team have reacted from last week's loss to Solent, and they're doing it again here, and Hildreth puts in a 3.
Yeah, nice little set play right there. Cameron coming off the double down screen and coming off, getting his feet set, lets it fly.
16 points for Cameron Hildreth. Shooting 5 for 9 from the field, the 18-year-old. Here is Johnson, 6 on the shot clock. Here is Silla. Good hands from Richardson, and here come the Thunder. It's 3 on 2. Hildreth puts up another three, and this time it's way off. Ward with the rebound. Ward puts it in. Tom Ward, and the gap is one.
Fantastic energy out of this half-time here. See if they can get another stop.
Absolutely. Bit of a heat check of sorts for Hildreth, but Tom Ward continuing the fire for the team. Here is Freckleton. Thames Valley on the back foot a little bit here. Champion puts up a three, and Crawford rebounds.
Thunder really fighting through those screens well, making it tough.
And a bit of a miscommunication there between Tom Ward and Max Richardson, and the ball goes out of bounds. Of course, Surrey Scorcher fans will be interested in this game. Of course, next week, the Cavaliers travel to Surrey Sports Park to take on the Scorchers in the BBL Trophy.
Yeah, great game, that one. And
absolutely, yeah.
And I believe the winner will go on to face the winner of Solent and Derby.
Yes, so they will.
That could end up as an all NBL 1 matchup in the BBL Trophy.
Ward finds Crawford. And they slow it down a little bit. Here's Ward on the pull-up, and Ward is good, and Thunder take the lead, 46-45.
I love what I'm seeing from Tom Ward right now, that extra aggression, getting after it, getting to his spots, offensive rebounds. Great work from him.
Playing really patient basketball, Tom Ward. He now moves on to 13. Williams, we've not seen a lot of in this game. Here is Johnson. Shot clock down to 7. Johnson with the short jumper, and the Cavaliers retake the lead.
So tough. You look like you got him bottled up. You feel like you've done a great job, and he pulls up from mid-range and just lets it go like it's easy.
A guy who averaged 26 points last season had a season-high 35 points in that time, as Sunderland puts in a 2.
That's a great kick from Cameron. He didn't have that in his game not so long ago, and he's making those easy passes and finding shooters now.
Johnson again, they double team. Here is Freckleton. Freckleton looks for Williams. Champion in the corner, short. And Ward gets the loose ball. Tom Ward having a great third quarter here. 13 points, has 6 assists and 5 rebounds. Richardson inside, has to find Crawford. Sunderland. Ward. Ward for 2. And Silla rebounds. Freckleton kicks it out to Williams. Here is Silla going all the way and throws it down. Akeem Silla.
Big time finish from Silla down the lane.
Timeout, Julian Stanley, and a great start to this third quarter by the Thunder, but Cavaliers still leading by 1 on the back of that dunk from Silla.
Yeah, now we've got a game, you know. Worthing are really moving it now and finding their scorers. Tom seems to have woken up a little bit and got himself on the board a few times. And then TVC responding with that big dunk from Silla. We've got a game on our hands now. Going to be a great second half.
Absolutely, and you know, we mentioned the strengths of Tom Ward so far, and you know, such a strong mid-range shooter, but you know, it's his off-ball movement, his patience, especially when he's got the ball as well. He's not as hurried. He's looking for his spot, as you mentioned, you know, the right spot, and he's making them count thus far. Yeah,
it's great to see him play with some confidence, and when he plays like that, as he has shown in the past, he can get it going on at this level and get you 20, 25 points on any given night. So good to see that, and hope it continues and we get a really good third and fourth quarter here.
So if you've just joined us on the Basketball England YouTube channel, welcome, and a quick mention to our sponsors for tonight's game and for NBL live games going forward: SportServe, Sure Shot and Dynamic. And there they are. By the way, those were put out by me earlier, these advertising boards. It was hard graft, but I came in early and got the job done.
Multi-talented.
Even had time to get changed as well. That wasn't too bad, but that's another story. Here's Hildreth for the Thunder. Skilled manual worker, Ian. That's what I call myself. Here is Tom Ward. Inside to Crawford, who had such a strong first quarter and puts it in and won. Howard Crawford going inside.
Great move from Crawford. Just leaning on the defender, feels where his body is and spins the opposite way for the M1. Fantastic move by him.
Crawford now moves on to 12 points to go with 7 rebounds.
this is the Howard Crawford that everyone expected to see when he signed at Thunder. You know, this is what he's capable of, and if he continues to do this, they're a threat every time they play.
Of course, a former Essex and Hearts Leopards man, and of course the Leopards now making the switch over to the Oaklands Wolves. Spent the season there in 2013-14. Great pickup from the Thunder, but you sense this is his breakout game so far. Here is Hawley. Finds Johnson. Johnson 4 on the shot clock. Has to put it up and puts it in. Short jumper for Taylor Johnson.
And that's another tough possession because Thunder have bottled up the first option and the secondary option. And then Taylor makes a play in the mid-range and gets himself an open look.
Dominic Ives also back into the game for the Thunder. Here's Hildreth putting the moves on Johnson. Nice movement there from Hildreth and scores!
Cam, rock the baby.
Putting Taylor Johnson on skates. And an offensive foul has been called. As you see, Cameron Hildreth, that's actually not the play from before. That was something from the first half. But yeah, still a great play from Cameron nonetheless.
We need to get a replay of that one.
Definitely one for the highlight reels on Hoops Fix and BBL Fix and all the other social media channels for sure. Here is Sunderland. Thunder lead by 2. Ward. And the ball goes out of bounds. Dominic Ives, I think, knew he was out of bounds when he collected that. And it's a Thames Valley possession.
The energy here has gone way up now on the Thunder side. You know, a few plays gone their way, a couple of highlight plays, and all of a sudden they're into the game. They really believe they can win it now.
Hehetro. Hawley back to Hehetro. Poor pass from Hawley, but good ball movement nonetheless from the Cavaliers, and it finishes with Blaine Freckleton knocking down a 3.
And that's what they can do. Threats from all areas of the court.
Ward. Good defense from Hawley on Hildreth, but a whistle has gone. I think the defense from Hawley was a little too aggressive on Cameron Hildreth, as you see here. Good play, though, from Dominic Ives, getting his body in the way to set that screen, and Hawley battling through it, but coming through a bit too aggressively as he was getting to Cameron.
Yeah, absolutely. Good patience from Ives and good ball movement, good off-ball movement from Cam to get himself in that position where Hawley has to try and make a play at the ball.
Ward. Long 3 for Tom Ward, and that will find no one but Seth Hawley. And the Arkansas man just slowing it down instead, putting up a 3, and a bit short there. Fontaine rebounds.
It's a few good defensive possessions for the Thunder now. Hope if they can string some scores together, they're going to grab the momentum here at the end of this third.
2:12 remaining in the third. Richardson kicks it out. Ward for 3. And a tip there from Richardson, puts it in at the second attempt. So much hustle from the Thunder, something that was lacking in their game against Solent last week. We're definitely seeing it here. Here is Johnson finding a bit of room inside and banks it home.
Tough finish.
Great.
Tough finish.
Absolutely fantastic handles from Taylor Johnson. Hildreth. Hildreth finding a bit of room past Hehetro and banks it home. Cameron Hildreth. He now has 20.
And he's just so good at that, absorbing contact late at the rim and finishing left or right hand.
And he gets the steal off Freckleton, and here it comes. 3-on-2 though. Cavaliers have numbers. Great defense from Hehetro. And it came off Hildreth's knee last. It'll be a Cavaliers ball.
Yeah, tough one there.
Absolutely, but that's the defense that we talk about. We spoke about earlier with Bernard Hehetro, getting back on defense and getting a hand in. Great hustle from the number 22.
Absolutely.
You can see it here. And the ball, just coming off Cameron Hildreth's knee, going out of bounds. Freckleton. And Freckleton will go to the line for 2. Referee Tim Brown in good position there to see a continuation.
Yeah, good aggressive rip through by Blaine there. Catching on the wing, he's never going to have a lot of space, known as one of the best shooters in the country. So he catches and he immediately rips to the baseline, gets it up on the backboard and draws a foul.
And Freckleton, a 78% foul shooter. A former Hemel Storm man. Of course, you know all about Blaine Freckleton's game. You played alongside him, and you still, as we mentioned earlier, keep in good contact with him.
Yeah, Blaine's a great player, a good friend of mine, and enjoyed a season with him at Hemel. But as I've mentioned a couple of times, just a fantastic shooter, but not one-dimensional. You know, he's really improved his game and able to create, get to the basket, and find other players as well.
Kai Williams coming back into the game. Hakeem Silla takes a seat, and the Cavaliers lead 58-57, 1:04 remaining in the third.
And look for TVC to mix up this defense a little bit and try to throw off this rhythm that Thunder have created. Richardson,
virtually an isolation play with Williams inside and a foul. Max Richardson.
That's great concentration with the contact up top, able to finish over the bigger guy. Really, really nice play.
Richardson using his pace, definitely the quicker of the two players. And Kai Williams with the foul. That is Kai Williams' second foul of the game. And Richardson makes both free throws, and something that we've spoken about, Thunder's aggression going to the basket, getting to the foul line. They only made 4 trips to the foul line against Solent. A big improvement today. Hawley from the foul line.
These Thames Valley guards are tough, they just keep coming.
Ward finds Crawford. Crawford back to Richardson. Richardson for 3. And no good. Good fighting though from the Thunder, and it's 2-on-2 here. But Seth Hawley will almost got my words tongue-tied. Fontaine, good defense there.
Great extra effort on the offensive end. Weren't able to put it away, but now they've got 10 seconds. Can they close out this quarter?
Absolutely, and proof that commentators can get tongue-tied in the best of situations. Johnson putting Crawford in the air, and Fontaine with the rebound. Final seconds of this third quarter. Ives and Blaine Freckleton's Hail Mary goes nowhere, and that ends the third quarter here at Durrington High School. Game is tied at 60. We have an exciting fourth period to come and a great NBL live game.
Yeah, one of the best games I've seen this year, and like we talked about, the energy is just been ratcheted right up, especially on the Thunder side. Unfortunately for Thunder, TVC have answered a couple of times, and that's led to us being tied now. So we're in for a great fourth quarter. If they can maintain that energy and TVC will keep responding, you know, it's going to go right down to the wire. You know, one thing to look for, Lewis Champion, we haven't seen him quite get going yet, and if this game is close late, expect to hear from him. He's not gonna stay quiet for long, you know. So I won't be surprised to see him showing up if there's a big moment late.
Absolutely. Champion with 4 assists, but 0 for 5 from the field. Cameron Hildreth leading all scorers with 20 points. We spoke about how aggressive Howard Crawford was in the first half. Cameron getting into his stride late on has really come alive in this third quarter. Taylor Johnson leading the Cavaliers with 18 points.
Yeah, Taylor's been big for them. In a couple of those possessions where Thunder have worked hard and got it down to the last few seconds in the shot clock, Taylor's just come up big and made a tough shot, made a tough play.
So don't forget, everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Basketball England YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Got some great features on the Basketball England YouTube channel, not just the NBL live games. Of course, there are highlights from all WNBL and NBL fixtures. Of course, a great podcast as we go inside there, and Hetero will go to the foul line. A great feature. Nice podcast from Tony Garbalotto, of course, ex-Great Britain coach, BBL coach. some great insight from him on his podcast, talking to coaches and other figures around the basketball game.
Yeah, and some of these podcasts and things that are going on, especially while lockdown's been going on, just great promotion for the game, you know. Although we're not able to play and to compete as we are usually, you're starting to see individuals take it upon themselves and really promote the game, and that's only going to take it forward. It's great to see.
Absolutely. And just recently there was a basketball week on social media platform TikTok that I was told about. I don't use TikTok, but apparently it's a really popular social media platform. I'm too old for that now.
Right.
Game is tied at 60. Here is Hildreth. Hildreth finds Ives. Ives puts in a three, and Thunder leads 63-60.
Cameron just losing the handle for a second and unable to recover it. Quick hook pass over the shoulder, and Ives does well to knock it down.
There's the replay of Dominic Ives hitting the three. Had lots of open looks last week against Solent, only got 7 points, 3 for 11 from the field.
Interesting lineup here for TVC with Taylor Johnson and Blaine Freckleton out there, Hawley in the corner, and then two bigs. Silla off the floor, so we'll see where they go to in this lineup.
Johnson finds Hawley. Great passing from the Cavaliers. Kai Williams in and out with his three-pointer attempt. Hawley comes up with it. Johnson miraculously keeps the ball but turns it over, and here comes the Thunder. Fontaine going all the way. And Johnson comes up with it. Hawley on the catch and shoot. Battle under the basket. Richardson comes up with it. Poor pass, though, finds no one but Johnson. Johnson way off with his three-point attempt. Scrappy possessions there from both teams as Fontaine looks to slow it down. Hildreth, great pass from Crawford. And Hildreth finds no one but Freckleton. Here come the Cavaliers again. Kai Williams from deep, and Richardson with the rebound. Hildreth, 1-on-2. Hildreth makes no mistake.
And Cam just makes that look so easy, you know. He's in transition, one-on-one. He just steps past the defender like he's not there, lays off the glass.
Thunder leads 65-60. Early stages of this fourth quarter. Freckleton going all the way, blocked by Crawford. Great defense by Howard Crawford. Thunder look to stretch their lead further. Here's Hildreth, putting the moves on Hawley. Hildreth for three, that's way off. And Hetro with the rebound.
Cameron's starting to show signs of looking a little bit tired, you know. It's hard to do this for 40 minutes, to carry a team and be super aggressive like he is.
Johnson finds Freckleton. Freckleton finds Williams. Back to Freckleton. Freckleton for three. Strings it.
Can't leave him open.
Thunder lead by 2. 7 minutes remaining in what has been a really thrilling basketball game here. And a wild pass from Hildreth. You can see fatigue already as substitutions coming in. I'd be surprised if Hildreth stays on the floor at this rate.
Yeah, just
Ives
potentially needs a little breather. I think there's a timeout being called. I think TVC are looking for a timeout, so he's going to get his breather.
And that's much needed. It's Robert Banks for Thames Valley who's called the timeout, so a much needed breather for Hildreth and for Thunder. Just a few really scrappy possessions, and Thames Valley getting back into the swing of things with 6:56 remaining.
Yeah, you know, I think Thunder are a little bit, call it unfortunate, to be not up more. They've really dug in defensively and got had some good possessions, and then they've just had some maybe suspect possessions in transition, a couple of turnovers here or there, and they've kind of allowed Thames Valley to stay in this game, and it's a three-point game right now, and it could actually be more. Will that come back to bite them? You know, we're going to find out. This is a talented team, but they've done really well so far to hold this team to 62 points with 7 minutes left.
Absolutely.
That's probably the lowest amount of points that Thames Valley have scored in a game like this, especially as the pace has been so up and down. Done a great job to hold them, really.
Absolutely, and to add to that, Thunder have lost 3 out of their last 4 games. In those 3 defeats, they've conceded 100 points or more in those games. So to put Thames Valley, a very high-scoring team, to 62 points this late in the game is a great testament to how hard they've worked this week in training and how they've prepared for this game.
Sure, but it's not over, and 7 minutes is a long time in basketball, and they're going to have to stay switched on, stay with their matchups, and finish out this game.
Great to see so many people watching us on the Basketball England YouTube channel. A great game here between the Worthing Thunder and the Thames Valley Cavaliers. Thunder leading 65-63.
Very interesting that Lewis Champion's still on the bench, extended period of time, sat down here.
I've got to mention one of the comments here from the great Gary Robertson, great person, that apparently I've got some TikTok dance moves still in me. Trust me, you don't want to see that.
Yeah, let's
you don't want to see
let's move
that.
swiftly on
Yeah,
from that.
should we? I don't even know why I brought that up actually, but I'm not a TikTok guy. But don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Basketball England YouTube channel. Of course, next week we'll be in Nottingham for the East Midlands Derby as the Hoods take on the Warriors, as Max Richardson puts in a long 2.
Nice read from Max there, just to pop out, find the open spot and knock it down in rhythm.
Johnson finds Freckleton going at Sunderland, and Blaine Freckleton will go to the foul line. Bit of frustration on Blaine Freckleton's face there as he goes to the foul line. Jack Sunderland, as good a defense as you're going to get, but with his moving feet, referee's always going to call that.
I think the refs called it baseline ball, so we're going to get baseline out of bounds here. And Thames Valley like their stack in this spot.
Hawley on the catch and shoot. Almost fading away as he shot that. One-on-one here, Hildreth and Silla. Hildreth going all the way, count it, and a foul.
Unguardable. Unguardable in transition.
And as soon as Hildreth got the ball, it was like he just accelerated, like he got off a Lear jet and just ran to the hoop. And Akeem Silla never going to hang with Hildreth in transition.
Yeah, and Silla no slouch. Really athletic, great player, experienced player, and just no chance against Cam with a head of steam in transition. Just
shows that timeout really benefited the 18-year-old. As Hildreth makes no mistake on the three-point play. And just like that, Thunder leads 70-63.
Yeah, Cameron up to 22 points now.
Silla going inside over Crawford. Williams kicks it out. Johnson gets Hildreth in the air, but long with his three-pointer. Freckleton, though, under the basket. Taylor Johnson, reverse layup. Beautifully done from Taylor Johnson.
Great composure. He just plays at his own pace and finds gaps, and he's never rushed. Takes the shots that he wants.
Such a smart basketball player. Great execution by Taylor Johnson. Here's Hildreth, big 3. Hildreth puts in a 3.
My word, this kid.
Coming alive in this fourth quarter. Freckleton responds in kind. And a technical has been called.
Big time response from Blaine Freckleton, but I think the refs got him on a
technical, yeah.
On a flopping call.
As you see, Hildreth's 3 at one end. And then Freckleton answering at the other, but a technical foul has been called on Freckleton for flopping. The referee's confirming that, and Tom Ward will go to the foul line. Great sequence of play by both teams there, resulting in 2 big three-pointers as Tom Ward misses the free throw.
Great game. It just seems like every time one team starts to make a run and gets out, the other team responds.
5:05 remaining. What an ending we have in store at Durrington High School. A venue that has been used for Worthing Thunder's training sessions, now a game night venue for the time being during this pandemic. Here is Crawford, finds Sunderland. Here's the hot man, Hildreth. Hildreth finds Sunderland round the back, and Johnson comes up with it. Here's Hawley. Hawley, good defense there from Hildreth, and it will be a Thunder possession.
Yeah, and we spoke about Danny Hildreth being a tenacious defender, and you see right here as Cam moves his feet and gets in front, fantastic defense from the young fella. Runs Hawley off the line, able to get his feet in front and force him out of bounds.
Timeout, yeah, timeout by coach Robert Banks of the Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers, who are 5-0 going into this game, really find it that run in jeopardy right now as Thunder looking to bounce back from last week's disappointment against Solent and have really put in the performance of the season so far against a really strong and talented Thames Valley Cavaliers side.
Absolutely. All the momentum right now is with Worthing. They just need to string together a stops and scores and try to close out this game. But as we've talked about, Thames Valley are not undefeated for no reason. A ton of talent out there, and this game is not over by a long shot. Fantastic game on display. Lots of talent, lots of shot making. Great energy in the building. Happy to be here.
Cameron Hildreth, 28 points off 10 for 16 shooting. A vast improvement on last week's 3-4. It was 3 for 14 shooting against Solent. And really coming alive, especially in this fourth quarter.
And as we come out this timeout, just another interesting lineup. No Lewis Champion getting late in the game. I would assume he's not going to go back into the game now. And that to me is a surprise. I mean, Lewis Champion's a guy that will have had bad starts to a game before, but to see him not out there down the stretch, you know, it's surprising to me.
And Champion, who really is a big clutch player, has won many games with his shooting, especially in the final seconds, and has done so for the Cavaliers as well. Here is Tom Ward. Tom Ward with the floater off the glass, too strong. Crawford again with the rebound. Crawford, Silla with the rebound. Here is Hawley. Williams, wide open three, but is short. And Taylor Johnson with the rebound. And he was fouled.
I think Williams was surprised that he was so open. Almost hesitated a second on that three attempt.
Taylor Johnson's 6th rebound to go with 20 points. Again, quietly gone about his business tonight. 9 for 12 from the field. 4 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Johnson, and he stepped out of bounds. Yep, good call from the officials. Eagle-eyed officiating, and Thunder get possession. Of course, assisted by Jack Sunderland as well.
Good slip to the bucket, but just stepped out of bounds there.
Hildreth. Ward. Good defense from Freckleton. Ward. And Freckleton just bats the ball away in frustration. And Tom Ward, I think, will be going to the foul line there.
Yeah, great aggression. Kind of forced the issue a little bit, but sometimes you've got to do that, you know, when you get cut off and there's not much going on. Got to create a play. Good aggression from Tom.
Thunder are saying that was a shooting foul. And, yeah, the referees have changed their mind. It will be foul shots for Tom Ward. They originally said it was an inline possession.
And just looking down towards the bench, I can see that Lewis Champion sitting near the physio. Not sure if he's tweaked anything or pulled anything, but could be the reason that he's out of the game. We're not sure.
Tom Ward makes the first free throw. Tom Ward, an 81% foul shooter. And Tom Ward makes both free throws. And the Thunder lead 75-68 with 3:35 remaining. Silla. And Silla gets it back from Freckleton. Hawley. Hawley with the shot clock down to 4. Hawley inside, banks it home. Seth Hawley using his quickness to beat Tom Ward to the punch. Here is Hildreth. Hildreth finds a bit of room, puts up a three, no good. Hawley rebounds, or Taylor Johnson, excuse me, rebounds, and Johnson's fouled by Sunderland.
Good foul in transition.
Great to see so many people on the Basketball England YouTube channel. Of course, our quick shout out to our sponsors for tonight's game, SportServe, Sure Shot and Dynamic, sponsoring all NBL live games this season. As Dominic Ives comes into the game, Jack Sunderland takes a seat.
And evidently not such a good foul in transition as they're over the limit, and Johnson will go to the line for two.
Yep. And with 3:02 remaining, Thames Valley can really take advantage of that situation now. The gap is 5. And now the gap is 4 with 3:02 remaining. And it's important for Thunder to just maintain their composure and stay patient, as Tom Ward has it. Richardson putting the moves on Freckleton, kicks it out. Ives, foot on the line, puts it in for two.
Big shot, Dominic Ives.
He has that shot in his arsenal, and he's just proven it there. Williams. Not seen much of Kai Williams in this ball game thus far. Here is Hawley. Just about finds Silla. Silla strong. 77-71 to the Thunder.
Great defensive possession again from Thunder. 6-point game now.
Yeah, and time definitely on their side. They just need to execute their offense. Hildreth finds Crawford. Crawford inside, blocked by Johnson, and it's a Cavaliers ball.
Wow, Howard goes up with bad intentions, but Taylor Johnson meets him at the rim. Says not today.
That's a replay there of that. Taylor Johnson with a big block. How important will that be? Freckleton for three, short. Johnson with the rebound, and he banks it home.
Taylor Johnson so impressive in this game.
1:54 remaining. 77-73. Hildreth. Hawley bats it away from him. It comes up to Ward. Ward finds Richardson inside, blocked by Hawley.
Wow, another big play. Hawley coming up on the backside.
Freckleton for three. And Taylor Johnson gets it back. Hawley at the other end. And Ives rebounds, and Thunder will slow it down. Richardson. Blocked, or excuse me, stripped by Taylor Johnson, and it's a Thames Valley possession. Timeout by Julian Stanley.
And this
1:19 remaining.
This game's really opened up now, and now you're looking for some leadership out there, you know. 1 minute 20 to play, 1:19 to play, and 4-point game. You're looking for who can, on the Thames Valley side, who's going to make a big play, who can get in a bucket, and on the Thunder side, who can control the game, who can control pace of the game, where they want the ball to go. Couple of possessions now, maybe a little bit rushed. Thames Valley did a great job to get stops on the defensive end, and now can they capitalise and make this a 2-point game? And
in situations like this, and we've seen it a few times this season, for all the talent Cameron Hildreth has at this stage of the game, with the game this close, Thunder have often looked to Zaire Taylor, who's won them a few games, particularly at BA London Lions in the L. Lynch Trophy, and against the Reading Rockets. Of course, Zaire Taylor in street clothes. He's not playing tonight. But for Thunder, you know, you look to Howard Crawford, to Tom Ward, and of course for Cameron to take them over the line. But for the Cavaliers, Lewis Champion is probably one of the more clutch players in this league. Hasn't seen a lot of court time in this fourth quarter. Yeah, not sure if he's picked up an injury, but doesn't look like he's going to be back out there. So you're looking at Seth Hawley, you're looking at Blaine Freckleton, and of course you're looking at Taylor Johnson, who have all been big for them. Yeah. And as they come out of this timeout now, we'll see which one they go to. Obviously, Hakeem Siller is always a threat, but doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands. Can always get it off the glass and create a play. So it's going to be really interesting now to see what TVC come out with, and who takes it upon themselves to make a play. Cameron Hildreth leading all scorers with 28 points, and Taylor Johnson leading the Cavaliers with 23. Both teams shooting 44% from the field, as Freckleton has it. Finds Hawley. Hawley for three. Hawley puts it in! Huge shot from Hawley. The gap is 1. What a game here at Durrington High School. Hildreth. If there's any time to show off your Wake Forest credentials, now is the time. Hildreth puts up a 2. It's too strong. Crawford fighting for it. And Seth Hawley comes up with the loose ball.
Big possession now.
Freckleton, final 35 seconds. Thunder lead by 1. Silla inside, and a foul from Ives. He thought it was all ball, but Hakeem Silla will go to the foul line.
Yeah, no surprise in the big moments. Hakeem Silla finds himself right there at the basket, able to draw some contact, and he goes to the line.
On that replay, it did look like Ives might have got a bit of hand, but enough for the referees to see a foul in there. And Hakeem Silla to the foul line. And the game is tied at 77 with 30.6 seconds remaining. And you can see Thunder, bar Crawford, all 4 of them decent shooters on the floor.
Got to manage the game now.
Absolutely, it's a 2-for-1, so Thunder will get possession back. Just got to execute your offense. And for Thames Valley, just stay patient in defense. Hildreth going inside, blocked by Silla. Huge block from Hakeem Silla. Inside it goes, and Taylor Johnson puts it in. Timeout, Julian Stanley.
Hakeem Silla, 2 huge plays, one on the offensive end, one on the defensive end, meeting Hildreth at the rim to deny him.
8.4 seconds remaining. The Cavaliers lead 80-77.
And then Freckleton able to find Taylor Johnson in transition now. 8 seconds left in the game. Key possession here coming up for Worthing.
And you're Julian Stanley right now. You know, who would you want to take that final shot?
I mean, I think you put the ball in Cameron's hands and you let him create. They've got some shooters out there. If I'm drawing up a play down 3 here, I maybe take Howard Crawford out of the game and surround Cam with 4 other shooters. Maybe Ishmael Fontaine, maybe a Jack Sunderland. And then you put Cam in a position to create an advantage and maybe find somebody. Or get to the rim and score a quick one. And then we go to the line and we play the foul game. But let's see what Coach Julian Stanley draws up and see what they get.
And if you enjoyed this game, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Basketball England YouTube channel. Just showcasing what a strong and talented league the National Basketball League is. 8.4 seconds remaining. And Zaire Taylor just giving last second instructions alongside Julian Stanley to the team. Looks like Thunder are staying with the same 5, as are the Cavaliers, as you were.
Big debate here in the basketball community. Do you foul? You know, do you take a foul here, up 3, potentially put Thunder to the line, unable to make a play, a 3-point play? We'll see what happens.
They're looking for Hildreth. They find Ward. Ward puts up a 3. No good. And Kai Williams will let it go out of bounds.
Great look for one of their best shooters, a shot that he can make. You'll live with that all day long. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get it to go.
2.8 seconds. A lot of time, but Thunder need to foul. And straight away, they foul Blaine Freckleton. 1.2 seconds chipped off the clock, so Freckleton will go to the foul line with the possibility to seal it.
Yeah, not the guy you want going to the free throw line late in the game if you're the opposing team.
Absolutely.
Blaine usually so calm and composed, and I would bet my house he's going to put at least one of these away.
Freckleton, 78%. Foul shooter misses the first, though.
Curse of the commentator.
Yeah, they do exist. 1.6 seconds remaining. Freckleton, your mindset is to just make this free throw, which he does. And the first instruction that was shouted by Robert Banks was no foul, as Max Richardson puts it up, no good. And that ends a thrilling contest here at Durrington High School. Worthing Thunder with a strong 4th quarter, but unfortunately just falling short, 81-77 against the Thames Valley Cavaliers. But what a fantastic basketball game we witnessed here tonight. Taylor Johnson leading the Cavaliers with 25 points. Seth Hawley supporting with 22. Cameron Hildreth with 28 on 10 for 19 shooting. But a great basketball game. Max Richardson pulling down a double-double of 14 points and 10 rebounds. A strong performance from him. Unfortunately, though, not enough. Cavaliers improved to 6-0 and the Thunder dropped to 2-6.
Yeah, that's a gut-wrenching loss for Thunder. You know, right there in the third and fourth quarter, made a great run, really changed the momentum and the flow of the game, and then maybe just late didn't quite control pace and tempo and control the game how they might have wanted to. But credit to Thames Valley, without one of their best perimeter players in Lewis Champion on the court. Kai Williams, seemingly anonymous today, didn't really have too much impact in the game, and still able to pull out a huge win late with some big plays from multiple players, really. Massive game from Taylor Johnson, which has now become commonplace for him, weekly basis. But, yeah, tough loss for the Thunder. Great performance from them, just weren't able to pull it out.
Absolutely, and defensive efforts from Taylor Johnson and Seth Hawley and Akeem Silla, particularly late on. The key to Thames Valley still remaining unbeaten.
Yeah, huge possessions, huge 3, I think, back-to-back blocks to kind of recover the ball, and then they were able to capitalise in transition, and Silla goes to the line, and yeah, that's the difference. They didn't quit on anything, and they didn't drop their heads when Thunder made a run. They just hung around when they needed to, kept making shots, stayed in the game, and able to get themselves a big win, big-time win.
And that ends a thrilling contest here at Durrington High School. The Worthing Thunder 77, Thames Valley Cavaliers 81. Don't forget to join us next week when the Nottingham Hoods face the Leicester Warriors at the Wildcats Arena, the East Midlands Derby. What a thriller that will be. I've been John Hobbs alongside Ian Berry. Good night, everybody, from Durrington High School.
See you guys.